Hello everyone, Kent.Bressler here. I want to welcome you to Kent's Kidney Stories. During our time together over these podcasts, I'd like to discuss kidney disease. I'd like to tell you about my journey as a transplant patient, but also talk about dialysis, kidney donation, and just about anything else that might be of interest. Kent's Kidney Stories, podcast endorsed and sponsored by kidneysolutions.org. Hello, everybody. This is Kent.Bressler, and we're going to be doing some podcasting today with a special guest who means a lot to me. And after you listen to her story, I guarantee you she'll mean a lot to you. So before we get started, let's have a prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today with joy in our hearts. We thank you for the many blessings you have shared with us. And today we lift up Karen Edwards as she seeks a living donor. Her journey with kidney and liver disease has been a struggle, and it is now that she really needs you most. Bring her closer to better health by sending the right person to be her donor. We ask this in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
So the big deal here is that Kent's Kidney Stories has reached over 100 episodes, and that's because the public has been very generous in providing me with folks that I can interview and businesses that I can interview. And it's been great looking at the comments and listening to some of the things that you've written, or reading some of the things you've written for these stories. And we're going to continue with plenty of fervor and joy. So thanks for listening. Today is a special day for me. I have a very, very good friend that I've just met over the past roughly 6 months to a year. And she has a great story, but the most important part of this story is the fact that she has nearing a need for a kidney donor. And she's trying to do that, find that kidney donor before she has to go on dialysis. So we're going to talk to her today and get her story. And I'm going to advise you that the best way for you, if you feel like you would like to donate to Karen, please call me at Kidney Solutions, 830-285-2140, and we'll get this started and get it in motion. So good morning, Karen. How are you?
Good morning, Kent. I'm doing fine, thank you.
Kind of give me an idea. We know that you're nearing renal failure, but the most important thing is that you've started out with I believe other transplant too besides kidney. What kind of transplant have you had?
I've had a liver and a kidney transplant.
Okay. And how long ago was that you had that combination?
November 8th of 2018.
Okay.
It's been almost 4 years now.
Yeah. So you've told your story in our support groups and you've been a diligent member. You always come to the support group. And I think it's helped you, but people need to know what you're going through, how you actually feel right now. I think it's important so they know the gravity of your situation. Give me your story.
Well, back in last year in September, I was told that my kidney that I had gotten in November of 2018 was failing, not rejecting, but failing. And so they wanted me to get evaluated to be on the donor list again, to get or the transplant list to get another kidney. And this time they told me I needed a live donor because of my age and that And what I went through with the prior transplant, they felt that a living donor would be better for me than a deceased donor at this time, because the wait for a deceased donor, when they told me in September of last year, would be 5 to 7 years. Although recently, when I had my yearly evaluation for this, they told me it would now be 2 to 4 years, but they still want me to get a live donor.
Okay. Okay. So we have you we're helping you at Kidney Solutions. We're
Yes, you
doing
are.
this to try to get someone to come forward, and they know how to do that. Let me ask you something that really tears at my heart. What caused your need for a liver and a kidney transplant?
Well, it goes all the way back to 2011 when I was type 2 diabetic, and my endocrinologist was concerned because my white blood cell count was going really low. And so he sent me to a oncology hematologist for an evaluation to find out why my white blood cells were so low. And at that time, before I even saw the hematologist, they put me, he did a sonogram of my insides.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they found that I had cirrhosis of the liver at that time. Well, I'm not a drinker, so it wasn't from drinking. They told me it was from NASH, fatty liver disease. And
Fatty liver
NASH
disease. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was sent to a gastroenterologist who told me that I needed to lose. I was actually 280 pounds at the time. And he told me I needed to lose weight real quick, as quick as I could. And they got me to do the gastric bypass surgery, which helped, but the cirrhosis still continued. But it wasn't until 2016 that my liver really started to fail. And they had moved to Colorado at that time because my husband had passed away, and my daughter was living in Colorado with her family, and she wanted me to live closer to her so that if anything happened, that she would be close to be able to help her.
Absolutely.
So when I got to Colorado, and I moved to Colorado, and my husband had passed away, and I got connected with a UC, University of Colorado Medical Center. My primary care physician sent me right away to a hematologist. No, not hematologist.
Nephrologist.
No.
No.
It was the liver.
Oh, yeah,
the liver
hepatic
doctor.
specialist. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Hepatic. Yeah. Yeah.
And so right then, she knew right away that I needed to go into the transplant list. So I went through the evaluation in Colorado, but they felt that I was too big a risk at that time. And at that time, my creatinine was wonky. It was going up and down and stuff like that. They were concerned, but not that concerned. They were more concerned with the liver. And but they decided that I was too big a risk to do a transplant in Colorado. But my hepatologist said that I should try other facilities. And so I did. And I ended up at Baylor Hospital in Dallas, Texas. And the day that I actually went there for the evaluation is the day my kidneys had failed. And I was immediately put in their hospital right then.
Yep.
So I was there, and I was in the hospital there for like 30 days while they tried to get the kidneys to work and do what they do. But they eventually put me on dialysis. And I ended up on dialysis for 7 months before somebody came along and
yeah, you were able to be transplanted
donated,
with the deceased. You got a liver and a kidney
liver
at that
and kidney,
time. Yeah.
So.
That's
was quite a journey.
Oh my goodness. People people don't even realize what kind of journey that is. They'll be surprised listening to it, but it must have been very tough. And then really, you didn't have a lot of support, right?
No, no, in Dallas, I had no family, no friends at all in Texas. And I was very fortunate, though, that I had a girlfriend who was in the process of moving from California to Ohio, she and her husband. And her husband was getting a job in Ohio that his wife could not be with him in this job because it was a seasonal job with the National Forest Service, Park Service.
Right.
And so I asked her, I said, "Would you want to come and stay with me in Texas?" So she came and stayed with me for 6 months while I was there. So I was very blessed that I had, she left. And it was so funny because I had several calls where I got called to, we have a possible donor for you. So like 3 times I went to the hospital waiting, and it
Didn't happen.
They didn't work out. Yeah. The week before I actually had my transplant, she left.
Oh my.
And so, but I had another friend who was staying with me at the time. So, and then my daughter flew out from Colorado. So I did have people there with me after the surgery, but for the most part, I was alone for the whole time I was in Dallas. Yeah. And after the surgery, my son actually left his job in California and came out to came out to Dallas to be with me. And he stayed with me and took care of me, took me home and brought me back to Colorado and was my caretaker here.
So you did have good support once you got Colorado, and that's
right.
good. And that's where you're at right now.
That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. What hospital is it that you're potentially going to be having your transplant?
The University of Colorado.
Yes.
It's the Anschutz campus, which is the main campus, the school and everything else. So it's even about 25 miles from my house. So it's a drive every time I have to go for an appointment or whatever.
We have all that information at Kidney Solutions. So if a donor comes forward, in the future here, we can get them pointed in the right direction and help them do what they need to do to give you a potential donor. That's why we do what we do, and hopefully people that are listening will be interested in coming forward to donate.
That would be wonderful.
Let me ask you. Right now, things have really changed now, though, and the importance or the need for a donor is imperative. Kind of give me a idea where you're at right now in your health journey.
Well, right now, I am still waiting, but I've been put on the inactive list right now because I've had a couple of infections since May. And they feel that I'm not well enough to have the transplant at this time. Although I don't feel sick or anything else, that's the term that they use, that I'm too sick to have it because of these infections. So they want me to wait 6 months and be infection free. And so I'm just patiently or impatiently waiting for that time period to pass. And they want me to just stay healthy, and that's what I'm trying to do. So
they ask you to do some things too to make sure you're getting your strength back, try to get your strength back, and you're walking.
I'm walking. Well, that's about it. That's about all I can do.
Right.
They want me to, I guess every year that you're on the waiting list, they want you to do a echocardiogram and a stress test just to make sure your heart is
strong,
well enough to go through the surgery, because I guess it's a long surgery. And So I have to reach a certain point in the stress test. And so that's why I'm walking and exercising, so that I can make that goal
Make
that
the
they want
grade.
me to meet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Most of the time, everybody just thinks it's really easy to find a donor. It is not. It's
Yeah,
extremely difficult. And being on a list, that's for a deceased donor, which you say could
right.
be 2 to 4 years. But someone steps forward now, if we can just locate somebody that's interested in donating, that changes the whole picture. You don't
Yeah,
have to wait.
right.
So
Well, it's also, Kent, very, very humbling and very intimidating to ask people to consider being a donor. They're giving up part of their body for
yes,
someone, which is wonderful and stuff. But it's like, you know, you just can't go up to somebody and say, "Hey, will you give me a liver or a kidney?"
yeah. But that's what you have to do, isn't it? You've come
Yes.
to learn that in the support group. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
The Lord's going to send you a donor, but you got to
Yes,
get
he
the
did.
information out there. And you've
Right. I
already,
can't just sit around and do
no,
nothing.
no, no, you have to be very proactive, and there needs to be, you need mentor support, which you're getting.
Yeah.
You know that we're going to help you any way we can. But the most important thing about it is your attitude, and you have such a wonderful attitude. You're
Yeah.
just pleasant. You know what I mean? That's all I can say. You,
Well, thank you.
you're very pleasant, and this is going to work out. We know.
No,
So go ahead.
I've never lost hope. God got me through the first surgeries, the first transplants. I know that He will get me through this, no matter what. I mean, if there's no donor out there, or they decide that I'm not well enough to even go through a transplant, then I have to be on dialysis. I will have to accept that and just go on with my life and live it that way.
I
But
I
I'm
think
praying
that
for a
is,
donor,
yeah.
and
I think that's so important to have that kind of attitude,
yeah,
because you really, if you look at the whole issue here that you're going through, you do not have very much control over the situation.
no, I don't.
And
No,
that's very frustrating. But when you realize it, then you can work with it. You know, like
yeah.
we send out flyers. We've got you some flyers, and tell me a story about that flyer that you posted.
Oh, well, I live real close to a 7-Eleven here, and we're in the city that I live in, and I got to know the manager and the workers there because I go in quite often to get a drink or whatever. And I asked her, I said, "Do you allow your clients or customers to post things on, on your windows and stuff?" And she said, "Well, it all depends on what it is." And I explained to her what I was going through, and that I needed a kidney donor, and I had a flyer that was asking people to consider being a donor, or getting the word out to their friends and family and stuff like that. And she right away said, "Sure, I'll do that." So she posted it, but it wasn't on the window outside as you walk in. It's right there at the register.
Where
It's
they
just
get the money.
right where they give the money to check out. It's
Well,
right there. So, and she told me that there were already some people asking
sure.
questions about it, and said that they might call and stuff like that. So I'm just thankful for that and for her.
Yeah. Yeah. What's interesting, a lot of the time, it's not something that comes over them instantly. I suppose that at some point, and they go home and they sit and mull over it, and it could be a couple months before they decide to do it. You never
Right.
know.
You
And
never
some
know.
people, it strikes them right away. They want to do it, and they get pretty aggressive. That person is I think is pretty rare, but like you said, there's always hope. We know
Yeah.
that. And that's
Oh
what
yeah,
we're
there's
doing.
always hope.
Right.
Yeah, I've never given up
Regardless.
hope.
Yep. If you stress that a lot in the support group too, that, just coming to a group meeting or meeting friends with the same problems or issues makes it so much better to get through.
Yeah. And I learned a lot too from the other kidney transplant patients or those that are waiting for kidneys. Every facility is different in the way that they, run their unit and everything else. And so somebody has, experience with some types of medication and not, and stuff like that. So you can go back to your nephrologists and your transplant team and ask them questions about your medications and about, what's going to happen or, whatever. So you learn things too. So
Yeah.
it's educational for us.
That's good. That's good. You know, what's interesting about this entire process, once you have a donor, right? Now we're going to talk specifically about your case. You're kind of like in limbo for quote 6 months, so you can prove that you can be healthy. I that's how I'm looking at it.
Right.
But I'm thinking if people are listening here and somebody really has an interest in donating to you, we will explain to them the possibility that they can't do it like right away, like test right away.
Right.
But and we would be willing to work with them and hold them. So we don't want them to be afraid to call and say, I'd like to donate. We can make that work. Okay.
Right.
And we will make that work, and it'll work to your advantage and to the potential donor's advantage too. So we know that that's going to come. It's just a matter of time.
Right.
I don't know of anything in my heart that I want more than to have somebody call for you, Karen.
Thank you. Yeah, me too. It would be wonderful. I just, would appreciate anyone that would want to think about it, or, contact somebody that they might know.
Sure.
Has talked about it in the past or whatever, thinking that they might want to be a donor. A lot of people put on their driver's license that they want to be a organ donor, but that's when it's too late for them. But it's whatever. Think about being a living donor.
Exactly.
Doing it now. I mean, you can live with one kidney. I mean, there's a lot of people, thousands and thousands of people out there that are living with one kidney.
Yeah. That's right. And the one kidney deal here is like my brother. He's lived fine for 35 years with just one kidney, and his other one's been doing really good with me. So it is important to realize that you don't need both of them. And there, what comes up when you want to be a donor, you have a lot of questions. If you're going to be a donor, and we have people at Kidney Solutions, we have a living donor coordinator who has actually donated a kidney. So we have all the answers, and we can help them. We can mentor them also through the process. That's really important, I think, for you to know that we're going to just try to do everything we possibly can. Let me ask you, do you feel mentally that right now, is this tough for you mentally and emotionally? Is it something that you're really having difficulty with?
Yeah, it is. Just like, I feel like, sometimes I feel like that, why am I going through this again? I went through it once, and it was a pretty bad experience. And do I really want to go through it again? Sometimes I ask that, but do I really want to be on dialysis for the rest of my life? It's just, sometimes I have these questions, but then I just think and pray that, okay, God, you're in control. You know what's going on. I made it through the first transplants for a reason. You've put me here for a reason, even if it's just to talk to people about transplants, and that it's something that will save your life.
I do know. I do know.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. Many people don't know, that happen to be listening, I'm sure, think, you look fine. You look,
Mhm.
you're okay, but you're not inside.
Inside, you're not. That's
Yeah.
right.
And you're just is it just a constant battle mentally to stay with it? All
Right.
right. And you know that. And I want our folks out there to realize how difficult some people call it brain fog. I just say that it's an unruly way for your body to react to something as bad as kidney disease. But most kidney patients know that they have to stay the course. They have to be positive. They
Right.
have to seek help. They can't just cover up at home and everything will be all right, because
Right.
it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse
It's going to get
mostly.
worse. Yeah.
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 And so your attitude, the general feeling that I've gotten from you is that you're prepared, but you still have questions.
Mhm.
So we need to really dig into that. All right. And
Okay.
so when you have them in group, let us know. Yeah, we that's the most important thing right now to you mentally and emotionally is staying tough.
Yeah.
It
Well,
was tough.
I have a great support group, a lot of prayer warriors out there across the United States and even in Europe. I've got some
Yeah.
friends
Yeah.
that are praying and stuff, but um, I feel that um, there are times when I do get down and feel sorry for myself and stuff like that, but that's not very often. I've got to live. I've got a granddaughter, a precious 11-year-old granddaughter that
Oh
I
my goodness.
want to be around for as long as I can be around. I've got a brother-in-law who just also loves his niece, and said we've got to keep you strong and keep you well and keep you here so we can watch her march down the aisle when she gets married.
Yeah. You'll be
So
able to turn around and watch her walk down the hall,
yeah,
the aisle.
and I don't want, I need to remain mentally healthy besides being physically healthy for her, because when I was in the hospital, she came to Dallas several times to visit, but I was always in a hospital bed. I always had, a feeding tube or whatever
Mm-hmm.
and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Yep.
And it took her a long time when I came back home to Colorado to get close to me again, because I was always sick to
Right.
her and stuff. And I don't want to have to go through that again. We're real close right now, and I want to keep that close. She's so funny sometimes, she tells me that I'm not doing the right thing, or, eating the right foods or whatever. So she's taking care of me too. So
That's great.
yeah,
I have a 11-year-old grandson. He's 12 now. So I know what it's like to want to be around. And
yeah,
we're going to do that. I think you're going to be okay. I
yeah,
think God's got good intentions for you.
yeah,
And then, if you get to a point where anybody in our group, you can contact.
right.
You don't have any, we'll provide their number. Any way you want to talk, that's good. We want you to do that. We want you to be sure that there's a mentor. There's somebody out there. I wished I had a mentor when I was, going
Yeah,
through what I was going through. But you've had a tougher road, and you've got a pretty rough road in front of you.
right.
But
I've only known one other person in my life that's had a transplant, and it was at the former church that I went to in California. He had a liver transplant because he
uh-huh.
contracted hepatitis C
Hep C,
on
yeah,
the mission field
yeah.
and stuff. But no one in my family at the time that I had my transplant and issues and stuff like that had ever had any contact with anybody that's had a transplant, or even being on dialysis. Nobody in my family is on dialysis or anything like that. So I'm like the first one. And but I think I remember telling you before that last year I got a surprise that I found or she found me a sister, a half sister that my mother
Really?
put up for
Yeah.
adoption way back in the 50s that we never knew about and stuff. But she also had a liver kidney transplant.
Isn't that strange?
Yeah, in
That's
2020,
different.
she had
Yeah.
her. Yeah. So,
Yeah. Well,
but before that, no one in our family has ever had anything like this. So it's like I'm navigating this alone pretty much. And that's why the support group is very important to me
you
because,
keep coming. You just
yeah,
keep coming. And we're, you know, the things that are facing you, you know, and things you've already had happen, we can't go back there. We
right,
can draw on that for information. But living today like you're doing is the best thing you can possibly do, my opinion, because what's coming, we deal with it when it happens. We do as much prep as we can, but we don't want to anticipate something happening.
right,
We
right,
have people in that group, and you'll have, you know, your physicians that can help you with this. I guess it's trying to figure out what's next for you. All
right,
right. And that's between you and your doc. All right. That's between you and your doc, but we can help make it better. All right.
right.
All right. So I'm going to ask the people that are listening, and that, you know, I know they won't be listening tomorrow. They could be listening anytime in the next, who knows for how long. I just want you to know how difficult it is to find a living donor. And if you have even one inkling or thought about wanting to be a donor, please give us a call at Kidney Solutions, 830-285-2140, and we'll talk to you about it. All right. All of the services provided by Kidney Solutions are free. We don't charge, there won't be any fees, but we really want someone to step forward for not only Karen, but several other people that we work with also. So we pray that you can do that. So, Karen, anything else you'd like to talk about?
I can't think of anything right now. Just to
Mm,
thank everyone for listening and
huh?
praying
Yeah,
about it and considering being a donor for me or anyone else.
that's right. Step up and ask. We're asking you, we're praying that you'll consider it. Give us a call. We're more than willing to answer all of your questions and get you prepared. So, Karen, thank you. This has been enlightening. I tell you for sure that I really have a lot of respect for you, and we're gonna keep trying. All right, we're not
Thank
gonna
you,
give
Ken.
up. We're not
Thank,
gonna give up.
thank
We
you. And
won't
thank
do
you
it.
for having this support group. It's wonderful.
Well, that's okay. We want you. I guess you know how much we appreciate you.
Yeah.
There's a great love for you in that group, and I think that's why people come. So that's the way it will go.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just again ask people that are listening, just give us a call. Go to kidneysolutions.org or give us a call at 830-285-2140, and we'll put you in touch with all the folks you need to answer all of your questions. So until we meet again, keep breathing.